Today we're going to go real fast and real deep because we're going to talk about something called the rapture and when it will happen. Now, the rapture is something that Christians have debated and been interested in, especially in the last couple hundred years. It comes from 1 Thessalonians 4. Paul says, "We who are still alive and remain on the earth one day will be caught up in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air." That's the concept of the rapture. Jesus also seems to be talking about it in John chapter 14. He says, "When everything is ready, I will come and get you." And Paul later talks about it in 1 Corinthians 15. He says it's going to happen in a moment, in the blink of an eye. Those who have died will be raised to live forever, and we who are living will also be transformed. So if this is referring to the rapture, then when is it going to happen? Now, before we can answer that, we have to understand something called premillennialism. The millennial reign is perhaps referred to in Revelation 20, verses 1 through 6. This is the 1,000 years that Jesus will reign on the earth along with the believers, the church, his followers. Now, after the millennial reign is something that we just like to call eternity. And this is something that we'll all enjoy. Revelation chapters 21 and 22 talks a little bit about that. But before the 1,000-year reign is a little something that some believers call the tribulation. This is the 7-year period that's referred to in Daniel chapter 9 and other chapters in Daniel, in Matthew 24, and also in Revelation. And of course, we are here right now on this timeline, pre-tribulation, and that's exactly why it's called premillennialism, because we exist right now before the 1,000-year reign, and also incidentally before the 7-year period called the tribulation. And this is where the concept of the rapture fits in, because the rapture is all related to this tribulation period. Premillennialists believe that we have one of 3 general options when the church will be raptured. Some Christians believe in a pre-trib rapture of the church. That means we get to go before any of the tribulation begins. Some believe in a post-trib rapture of the church. In other words, the church will be there for all 7 years. And then some Christians believe in a mid-trib rapture, or more recently it's called a pre-wrath rapture of the church. And that relates to this midpoint, the 3.5-year point, when the Bible talks about this mysterious abomination that causes desolation. And things are going to get really bad in the second half of the tribulation, to include the wrath of God that will be unleashed on the world. So the question is, where do you put yourself? Are you pre-trib? Are you mid-trib? Are you post-trib? When do you think the church will get taken away to go to be with Jesus in the clouds? Now, if you're like most Christians in today's church, you haven't probably given it much thought. So if you want to study it so that you can figure out where you stand on the matter, take a look at these passages as a great starting point and talk about it with a group or a mentor.